welcome to Art Club. I'm Miss Liz, and today we're going to be creating some beautiful tulip pictures using chalk pastels. So I've got a couple samples. This one, and this one. Chalk pastels can be very messy and dusty, but they are so much fun to work with. You might end up with chalk dust on your hands, on your fingers, maybe even on your clothes, but that's okay because I have to tell you that even though working with chalk pastels is very messy, it is one of the easiest art supplies to clean up when you're done. So a few things you can do to try to contain the mess is you can put newspaper down on your work surface so that will keep the dust right on there. You can also use the paper bag that I gave you with your supplies in it, and that's probably what I'm going to use. It might be helpful to have some wet wipes or wet paper towels on hand. That way when your hands get dusty and some of it ends up on your work surface, you can just wipe that right up. Most importantly, no blowing. Do not blow the chalk dust off of your paper because it is just going to make a bigger mess. You can try to do this project outside if it's a nice day out and let the wind take the dust away. Or you can have a garbage can nearby and you can just take your paper and just give it a couple taps right into the garbage can and all the extra dust will just fall right in there. Let's go over what's inside our bag. There's some Q-tips, a black piece of paper, and that's what we're going to be drawing on, a white piece of paper because we're going to practice doing some blending with our colors, and you're going to find some chalk. So chalk pastels are always square and they're somewhat soft, so they will break. You see, I don't have one handy that shows, but if it breaks, you can just go ahead and use it. You'll just have to hold it with your fingers. Everyone's going to be receiving different colored chalk, and some of you are going to have some super bright colors, and some of you might have, let's see, some lighter colors, but you're all going to have a variety. You're going to have colors for your tulip, colors for your leaves and your stems, and then colors for your background. But they're all going to look really good no matter what colors you have because it's going to really pop on this black paper. So if you have orange in your packet, like an orange and red, okay, you're going to use the orange and red to make your tulip, not the blue and purple. Those are going to be for your background. So I try to include different shades of blue, purple. Those colors are going to be for the backgrounds, okay? So try to use your oranges, reds, the darker, brighter purples, the pink. Those are going to be what we're going to use for our tulips. So something you might need from home that I forgot to mention is a pencil because we're going to draw our outline of our flower with a pencil. So go ahead and grab that. Grab your white paper and dump out your chalk pastels because we're going to practice doing some blending techniques. So we can blend our colors on our paper using our finger, using a Q-tip, or even using a paper towel. I know that some people don't like to have the feeling of chalk on their fingers, so if you practice on here like this, you can decide which blending technique you want to use. I tend to use my fingers the most, even though it's messy. So take two colors of chalk, one light and one dark. So I'm going to do, let's see, a dark purple and a light purple. And then we're going to color on our paper, just do a little bit like this. Do your dark one and then your light one just next to it like that. And then I'll show you with the Q-tip. You can blend like this. You see all that extra chalk there? That's the mess that I was talking about. So if you have your garbage can handy, you can go ahead and tap that into there. So when we're blending colors, it creates different shades. So it might be lightening up your colors a little bit more than what you want them to look like. So you can go ahead and go back in. You can add more color and keep blending. So now this time I'm gonna use my finger. All right, so see how that looks? All right, next, you can go back in and you can put darker colors and blend. So I just really want you to play with this a little bit. So when you're starting on your flower, you kind of have an idea of how it works. The good thing about this is you can just keep layering it and adding more on top of what you already have on the page. So when we are coloring large parts of our paper, which would be the background, we're gonna use something called a side stroke. So now in this batch of chalk pastels that I have, I'm going to have these, and I'm going to use these for my stems and my leaves. And then I'm going to use these two colors as my flowers. And then these two colors are going to be my background colors. So when you do the background, you're going to lay your chalk on its side. And then you're going to just randomly put your colors. They don't have to be all filled in because you're going to blend. And then if you don't like the way it looks, you can add more later. So go ahead, you can do like a swirly pattern with your fingers or your tips, like that, or you can go back and forth. So when we do our background, we're gonna want it to look a little bit cloudy, maybe? Maybe I'll use that one. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So grab your pencil and your black paper and we'll be all ready. One last quick look at the samples. So you can draw one large tulip or you can do two smaller ones. All right, let's get started. First thing you're going to do when you're drawing a tulip, and this makes it a lot easier, is to draw a U shape. So you're going to take your pencil and you're going to draw a U. For this one, I'm going to do just one. All right, you see that? It's a U shape. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the petal shape on one side. So we're going to start at the top of the U and we're going to draw down to about the middle of the U. Then we're going to take the other tip of the U and we're going to come down, but we're not going to come all the way down here. We're going to stop right here at this first petal. And then next thing we're going to do is add our center one. So now some tulips have more pointed petals and some have more rounded. So you can decide how you want yours to look. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw our stem. So let's not take it all the way to the bottom. Let's take it right about here. And since my tulip is just one, I'm gonna make a little bit of a thicker stem. But if you drew two, you wanna have your stem a little bit thinner than what I'm drawing. And I'm gonna give it a little bend at the end there. Like that. And then we can draw our leaves on there. So I'm gonna start here and I'm gonna kind of do a, I don't know, like a mound. And and end up at a point, and then come down like that. And then I'll do another one over here, like that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my darker color, which is the purple. If you have red and orange, use your red. If you have two different purples, use your darker purple. All right, so grab that, and we're going to fill in, let's do these two here. We're going to fill in the entire petal. You can go over your pencil mark if you like. I'm applying some pressure to this, so I'm not doing it very lightly. So you'll have to kind of see which color that you're working with at the time and decide how dark you want it to be on your paper. That determines how much pressure you're going to put on there. Okay, so just to show you a different way that you can do it, this petal, I'm just going to put the dark in a few different spots. I'm not going to do the whole thing. That way I can come back with another color and add that in there. But I want to give you a chance to see the different ways that you can do it. Now, here's the messy part. We're going to take our Q-tip, our paper towel, or our finger, and we're just going to blend this. We're going to try to stay in that petal shape and just blend it together. That looks so pretty. And then this one, we can blend out into the part where we didn't add any color. That's going to be fine. So there's my fingers. I'm going to wipe them. Then I'm going to come back and I have got pink. So I'm going to add pink. If you did red, you could put your orange on there or whatever your other complementary color is. And I'm going to add some colors. I'm not going to cover the whole thing. I'm just going to add some in a few different spots. This one too. And like I said earlier, if you don't get exactly the color or the blending that you like, you can just keep adding those layers. So this one, if you can tell, you can still see the black paper where I didn't put the purple. So that's where I'm gonna put this pink. All right, let's get messy again and start blending. So you'll notice that this looks slightly different than what the other two look like, and it's showing a little bit more of the pink. So both ways are really going to end up with a color that we like. So now let's add in a little bit more pink. You can work on your colors, see what else you want to add in there. So I've got quite a bit on mine. I'm gonna pause this video and I'm gonna go tap this off in my garbage. All right, so I think I like the way that this looks. I don't know for sure, so I'm gonna take a break from working on the flower and I'm gonna start working on the stem. Sometimes when you get more done on your picture, then you get a better idea of what the final product is gonna look like. So you're gonna take your darkest green. Some of you might have two greens, some of you might have a green and a yellow, but you're gonna take your darkest green and start filling in the stem. This one goes on very nicely. And time to blend. I'm really liking this. All right, so to give it a little more realistic feel, or like almost like a 3D feel, I'm gonna add some yellow in here and see how this looks. And I think I'm just gonna I'll do that on that one. Do one side of the stem on here. And then I'll do this stem like this. Let's see how that turns out. What do you think? I think I like this one better. So I'm gonna add a little bit more here. Blend that a little bit. And if you're looking for a little bit more darker lines in there, you can add a couple, press really hard. Add that in there, and then just very gently blend that. There. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and dump my dust off again, because then I'm gonna start working on the background. And once we're done with that, then we can do some touch-ups on the flower or the leaves. All right, so here's where you're gonna use your blue or purples that are in your bag. I actually have more purple, lighter colors than the ones that I used on the flower. So I'm gonna try to use those on the background without making it too much like the tulip. So I'm gonna lay it on its side and gently add some color. It looks like it's not quite the same purple, so that should be good. Take this lighter one. All right, so just leave some black open there so we can blend and have it look almost cloudy. Let me show you again. So I'm kind of going for this, I don't know what to call it, cloudy look. All right, so let's start blending that in. It's definitely looking cloudy. Not sure how I like that look. Let's see. I think I'm going to add a little bit more of the darker purple and see what that looks like. All right, that looks pretty good. So why don't we take a break, take a look at our tulips, see if we want to make any touch-ups, and we'll check back in a moment. I decided I'm going to add a little bit more pink down here on the bottom. Let's see how that looks. There's so many different types of tulips out there. All right, like that. And then a little bit of yellow. I like this. Ooh. I forgot to clean my fingers and I got a little green on there. It's okay, just keep blending it and covering it up. And now it is gone. Go ahead and work on yours and get it all finished up. And don't forget to dump off all that extra dust into the garbage can. No blowing. All right, I'm done. Although I don't really like this part right here. Let me see. I need to blend that a little bit more. Add a little purple. There we go. So I would love to see how your tulips turned out. If you would like to share that with me, you can post it in the Facebook comments section from Art Club, or you can send it to us at the library at youth@newlenoxlibrary.org. I hope you enjoyed this project. Thanks for joining me.